Welcome to Meeple, uniting players around the world. A 30-minute exploration of PJ and Gareth's board game experiences from across both sides of the Atlantic. Each episode, they share their thoughts and opinions on the world of board games, including their favourite themes, games, hot topics, and much, much more.
Hey, welcome to episode 25. I'm PJ.
And I'm Gareth.
And we are here to talk about Dearly Beloved, a partners special. This episode is going to be about Gareth and I's significant others, our spouses, as it were, and the games we play, and more importantly, each of their top 10s as chosen by them and handed off to us. Gareth, how are you and Carrie doing?
We're doing very well. We played quite a few games today, and it's been quite a chore trying to get the top 10 games from Carrie. But I have the list here, and I'm pleasantly surprised by the top 10 she's chosen. I would play all of them. So yes, absolutely. It was really interesting, just as a side note before we really dive in. So when I approached Katie and I'm like, I think I told her like maybe Wednesday or Thursday of the early midweek. I was like, hey, don't forget, I need your top 10 games or top 5. I told her top 5 originally. And I reminded her again. And then she's like, I can't give you 5, but I sure can give you 10. And so I think that was the impetus for you and I to go, well, let's get their top 10. And I think Carrie gave you 10 games and Katie gave me 10 games. And we're going to talk about their favorites. Now, remember, these are not ours. These are their favorites. These are their favorites. And we nearly had a few amends like an hour ago. And I had to veto it. We were there. There's no more changing minds. So these are the 10 as of middle of January, going into the back end of January 2023.
Would you say that it's fair to say that these are our favorite people to play with as well?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've got some stats for later. You know, I like my stats.
I know you do.
I went and found the head-to-head stats of since we've been recording stats in board game stats, which I think's about 10 years.
Oh yeah.
So we have a few stats, and interestingly, I also then found the most played games, and there's not necessarily an overlap of Carrie's favourite games at this point. You just want to remind us some of those games. She's like, oh, I've got to change. No, too late. You've given me your top 10. So
you shared with me Carrie's top 10, and then I shared them with Katie. And
what's the overlap?
Well, I think so we have 3 games in common.
Interesting.
Right? Yeah. Out of 10. Let's see. Carrie has 3 games that neither Katie and I have ever played.
Ooh.
And then there's 3 games that are also on Katie's list. And the other games that we've played that we love, that we own, that are on Carrie's list but not on Katie's. That's gonna get
I'm confused already, but what's good is that we've got a bit of a not played, never heard of, or not, and then we have an overlap.
Right. These games are great. Carrie's got a great list. We love her choices. But what Katie emphasized in her list is on her top 10 that we'll share in a moment. These are games that she is ready to play at a moment's notice, and she doesn't care. You know, if you say, hey, do you want to play in any one of these games? She's on it.
I think that's why this is Carrie's list.
Yeah.
So I tried to get reasons for them, but they're just games that she will play happily. If I suggested, it'll be a yes.
Yep. That's it. Although I will tell you that Katie's list, these are not ranked in order. So
Carrie's ranked in order.
We have
a ranking list.
If you're looking for like this will be Katie's top 10, but it's not in order. Number 1, number 2, that will be not. No,
half a job. Only did half the exam question, so half a point. Calls herself a gamer. She's only got half a point for that.
Well, she is a gamer. She loves them all.
We'll have to do a second game.
Yes. So where do you want to begin?
Well, so Carrie has only really been playing games since we've probably as in board games since we've been together. So, and we got into games about 10 years ago, and we'd always played card games and stuff like when we went on holiday. But 10 or 12 years ago, we got into board games. And then since then, she's always had a passion for worker placements, and you'll see that appear on the list. We have a joke at home that she just likes playing farming games, which when you see this, that's not quite true.
That is not true.
She says no to all space games, but that turns out really it's just anything with the word Star Wars or Star Trek. Any space game she
wait a
likes.
minute now.
Honestly, if it's got Star Wars or Star in the word, it's a no. But the game which is no space games, and guess what game we started playing? Space. So it's just a mockery of it all. A real passion for filler games and party games, but they don't really appear on this list. So that's a little intro about Carrie. How about
So when I met Katie, we've been married nearly 14 years. We've been together 16. So when I met her, she was already a gamer, and she had introduced me to a few things, right? Because like I was a gamer, but my exposure to Euro games was minimal at the time. And she introduced me to stuff. There was a moment when we were both in graduate school, and we were dating, and we went to a local game store. And I remember looking over at her, and I was like, "I am so glad that you love to play games."
Yeah.
And we've never looked back. Interesting enough, it was Ticket to Ride. We played the Markland, which is now Germany, but the original Markland. And I was like, "Man, this is kind of interesting," And we never looked back. Never looked back.
Our favorite gaming partner. Maybe that should be in our episode. So how should we? So I haven't seen Katie's list. So do you want to start with the overlaps?
Yeah, let's do that. Because if we try to do these in ranking, because Katie didn't rank them,
let's just do it in overlaps first. Let's do the three that we have a similarity to.
So for those paying attention at home, you might want to take notes for this episode. There are 3 games on both Katie and Carrie's list, and they are Obsession.
Boom. There it is.
Ark Nova, and Rococo by Eagle Griffin Games. I love saying that. That's such a fun word, Rococo.
What 3 awesome games. I mean, Obsession, we've squeezed it into another episode, and this wasn't even us trying this one.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie would have that Obsession, Rococo, and then Art Nova.
And Obsession just broke BGG's top 100.
Top 100. Right? Yeah, outstanding. Honestly, one of the best games. And I don't think we're going to cover really the game themselves, but I think these 3, we played Rococo only yesterday. Friday. And it's all these 3 games just hit the table. They are, they're kind of a 3.5 kind of complexity.
Yep.
So there's no fear of lightweight games in this list. And I think the cards, I mean, they've all got card playing. Interestingly, Obsession is cards. Rococo is hand card management, and Ark Nova's card management. Yeah. It's an interesting overlap.
And yet, but Obsession, Ark Nova, and Rococo are, Rococo maybe a little less, but a little worker placement. In Ark Nova, very minimal worker placement, right?
Yeah, I mean, Obsession is full on.
Yeah. And technically, Rococo is kind of, you have the staff cards you play, but I guess it's not really worker placement so much. Definitely
but those first 2 have got so much theme. Obsession. I mean, every time I play Obsession, the theme oozes. Rococo, the theme oozes.
Oh, the theme.
I love it, and it plays really fast at 2-player.
It
very,
does.
very enjoyable.
It does. We knocked out a game of Ark Nova just before recording today.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got it done in like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
her and I. Yeah,
it's weird because they're nice medium weight games, and I'd would happily play any of these 3 if I was asked.
Absolutely. Are you
it's
kidding
because
me?
I asked for Star Wars and then I get let down with a no. But these 3, I would play.
Right. No. I mean, any chance to play Rococo, unfortunately, it doesn't hit the table as often as I like. But love it. Obsession hits the table constantly. And so does Ark Nova, because you got that 1 to 4. If we could get a 5th player, because we have a five game, a group of 5 of us every other Saturday, that would be great. That would be perfect. Then it would hit the table more often.
So I think Obsession, I prefer playing with 2, maybe 3 max. Much more. I don't hear good things. I think it's a bit too much downtime.
Having played 6 players, Obsession.
Was I right in my judgment?
I mean, it was hours.
Yeah, that's what I thought it would be.
And a beautiful solo game. I love playing. I'll throw Obsession here. Katie will do some crafting, or she'll be upstairs watching TV, and I'll come down here and play a game of solo Obsession. Got to do it, right? It's great.
And all of these games on this list, we play 2-player. They're not games that... Yeah, it's a good point. All these games actually, Carrie's chosen, we happily play with 2. It's not like... That's a good observation that's made. Okay, so we've talked about those 3. What about something that is on the list that Katie hadn't played?
Okay.
And I'll talk about that.
So there's 3 games on Carrie's list that Katie and I have never played. That is Tzolkin. It's in our top 3 of we really want to play, to purchase, whatever. But Tzolkin, Glass Road, we've never played Glass Road. And then Keyflower. So Carrie likes those. We've never played them, so...
Tzolkin's number 1. She ranked them.
Yeah.
They're all older games these days. So I think... so Tzolkin's worker placement.
Yeah.
Glass Road is card drafting. And Keyflower is kind of auction management. So very different games. Tzolkin was a very early game that we got into, like one of the very games at the beginning of our journey. And every time we play it, we love it. 2 players or 3 players or 4 players, worker placement, the cogs move around the boards. It's just good. And I think Carrie likes that kind of puzzly part of these games, that kind of, I can do this and that happens, and this bit's over here. So lots of different moving elements. Glass Road, have we ever played that more than 2? It's got a slightly different rule set for 2 players, which means it's really streamlined. We must have played it more than 2 player. But it's Uwe Rosenberg. You have a deck of cards. You're picking your cards to play, and then you play them down. And then if you both play the same cards, you only get one action of the 2. If you play exclusively, you get both actions. So it's kind of a game, interesting, a moving dial. So it's got a dial on the board, managing resources, and you're basically producing glass. I'm going to say bricks. I've now forgotten, but you're producing 2 resources by conversion. Again, Carrie just loves that game. Just like if that's suggested, highly recommended that game. It may be out of print. And then Keyflower. Now that we play 2-player, but it's also brilliant with 6, like big group.
Okay.
And we've been playing that with our Southampton group quite a lot recently. And you hide a lot of stuff behind your player screen. So you're bidding and trying to win. And Carrie always comes out with killer moves. I think last time we played, just went, look at all these meeples I have, and just trashed us all. And she'd been playing quite conservatively. So it's that little side of Carrie, that side of Carrie that came out with Keyflower. Now, we actually love the entire Key series. You got Keyflower, you got Key Markets, you got Key Dragons, and I've now forgot Key Per, and there's another one I've now Keyflow. All of those sit within our collection and will be happily played by Carrie as well.
Excellent.
So yeah, they are a mighty fine choice of games.
Interesting. So I want to round out Katie's top 5, right? Because Rococo is kind of a number 6, even though she didn't rank them. But knowing her as I do, I want to give you 3 games that's on her list, and they're in her top 5. And that's Orleans, Terraforming Mars, and Scythe. I think Orleans is probably her favorite game.
I'm surprised that's not in Carrie's list. because it's a game Carrie loves too.
Yeah. And we almost exclusively play it at 2 players.
Same.
We have played it at 4. We've also played it at 5, and it plays well. We have the invasion expansion, which makes it cooperative, and that's a brutal cooperative. And it feels very different from other cooperative games, which I think is what makes it stand out. It was our first bag builder game. I think that element really connected with my wife. I think she really likes that bag building. Terraforming Mars has been, I introduced that to her and she hasn't looked back. This is a game where, I mean, we've played this close to 100 times.
Wow.
I have like a 97% win ratio over
97%.
Yeah. And yet she will bring it back every time she's ready to play.
Well, it's the engine tableau kind of.
Oh yeah.
Builder.
In fact,
it's so satisfying.
For Christmas, she gave me a neoprene mat with the grip surface that has everything on it. So it's got the planet, it's got Venus, turmoil, colonies. So there's a place for everything, and I love that. That's one of the problems. All the expansions can get unwieldy. Now it's all right there. And it holds the hexes in place beautifully. She will always play Terraforming Mars. Always. We almost always play it 2 because we've got a couple of friends here in Springfield that don't care for playing it, so it doesn't hit the table with the group very much. But that's a good one. And then Scythe. So we both learned Scythe at the same time. A friend of ours, he taught us, it was 5 of us. He stepped out, so he didn't play, and he just taught it to us. And it was just such a lovely experience. What do you call that? When you manage like you put your token and you take the top action and the bottom action. There's a thing that Villainous does something similar, right? Where you can't repeat the same action.
Yeah, I come with the mechanic.
I don't know what the mechanic's called.
Yeah.
But, and it's area control without the feeling of risk, right? Where, even if you do lose in combat, your pieces don't leave the board.
Mm-hmm. We don't find there is a little bit of combat, but some games are very peaceful. It's the threat of war more than war itself. And do you play Scythe 2 players, or do you generally play it with a bigger group?
We play it at 2, and it's great at 2. It's great at 2, and it's great at 5. It's terrible at 6 and 7.
Right, never played 6, 7.
We've done it, and it's terrible. Rise of Fenris was an amazing campaign. Really good story. Whenever you have a game that's a campaign, and the opening narrative is 4 or 6 pages of just reading out loud, sign us up. And so it's on her list consistently on her top 10.
Those to carry. All I thought would be on the list, because we played that game a lot, and it's in the most played list. Terraform Mars is a space game that Carrie will play or not be bothered on, and then Scythe it hits the table and she enjoys it.
Yeah.
But then says, I don't enjoy Scythe, and then we play it and it's okay.
So Scythe is interesting because we learned Scythe. We were taught it one time, and it was the one game where, and I think it was the first game where we bought all the expansions, and we bought a wooden insert and the legendary box, so everything fits.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
But it was one of the last games for the miniatures to be painted. The pandemic and the lockdown in 2020 gave Katie the time to paint, because the mechs are kind of large. The airships are really a pain because, they're, substantial.
They are chunky, aren't they? Yeah.
And they're basically one color. And then there's all these little rivets that you're dry brushing with metal. But they're fully painted now. They look beautiful. We had a few of them featured in our reel on our miniatures painting episode. Yeah. Scythe, when we went all in, I bought the, there's a hardback book that's like the artwork of Scythe.
Oh, yeah.
Jamie
You have that as well.
I bought that for Katie for one of her birthdays last year or the year before, just because she loves Scythe so much. And so do
anything
I.
I haven't got. I think everything else we have. Like you say, all the bits. I don't think we have the book. But I do like the artwork.
It's really good at two.
Yeah.
The modular board makes it better at 2 players.
Yeah, it does.
And we love that.
It's awesome.
So,
okay.
All right. So what is Carrie's next 3?
So going down Carrie's list next, I thought the next game would have been Carrie's number 1 because it's always suggested, and that is Grand Austria Hotel.
Oh, we played that yesterday. I love that game. Yes.
Yeah, Carrie is
love it.
It is again card placement, collecting resources, feeding your serving your customers, and getting their hotel rooms. It just flows, and the expansion stuff works great too. I love the artwork. It's one that again we pretty much play this 2 players. I think we played a few others, but generally it plays fast. Again, theme wise, Carrie. It just feels like you're running a restaurant. Well, it feels like you're running a hotel.
Yeah.
And I was surprised it wasn't number 1 because it's one that Carrie always suggests comes out.
It's so good. It is in fact very good. We played it yesterday. It's just great. Brandon at Viticulturist on Instagram. He lives up in the Toronto area. He's the one who introduced me to the game and was like, "Oh, I need to get a copy." When he found out we had a copy, he sent me a 3D printed bust of the Emperor.
Oh, lovely!
To replace the little black wooden marker for the Emperor track, or not the Emperor track, the Time track. And Katie painted that too.
The thing about it's Grand Austria Hotel is the whole dice. The dice, is it 6 actions, and the more dice there are, the more things you can do, and so it's always weighing up. Do I wait? Do I do this now? It's a really tight set of decision making. So again, very similar to I guess the other games we've talked about. They all require a little bit of thinking and thoughtful planning.
Yep.
So that was at number 4. The next one we haven't talked about is number 5, which is one of the heavyweight games. Carrie's favourite, the Serda game.
This is the heaviest on both lists.
I think the Gallerist.
Oh, so good.
So good. Again, oozing with theme, the art. It was the first Lacerda game, Vital game that we added to our collection.
Same here. Yeah.
I guess it might be one of the oldest ones that were done in the kind of Eagle Griffin style boxes. Right. At least. And again, we've played it 3 and 4 players, but again, exclusively, we probably play this with 2. Yeah. Again, it's loads of thinking, the pattern of getting your artists. Do you support them? Do you go and get your VIPs? Do you sell the art? Do you go and sell it on the international market? It's genius, absolute genius.
Very puzzly. Yeah.
Again, similar to I guess Carrie's other selection. It links into that kind of multi sort of faceted choice. And number 6, bringing the complexity right back down, is Wingspan. There we go.
Who doesn't love Wingspan?
Who doesn't love Wingspan? So, we have played everything apart from we have Asia, but we haven't actually got it out of the box yet. So we've yet to play that.
Asia's really good.
Is it good? Yeah.
It's really good, yeah.
We were saying this yesterday that because it's a big box, it's come upstairs into the overflow and it's been out of sight. And I was like, we have not yet played Asia. We have missed the game since before Christmas.
So it's interesting, when we got the nesting box along with Asia, we did a 5-player Wingspan.
How was that?
That was like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, because we're so used to playing a 2-player.
It flows
and
fast.
We could play 2 or 3 games of Wingspan in one sitting, and but there's so many birds. So many birds. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows Wingspan. If you haven't played Wingspan and you're listening to the show, you're after a nice game to get the family into or friends and new gamers. Wingspan is the one.
I think we know someone who could tell you about Wingspan if you never played it before. I think we both know somebody.
I know a certain lady who could share her love and knowledge, and maybe we can get her on the show if I keep leaving hints that one week she might join us.
We need to do that.
So that's the next three. I'll keep number 10 for the end. What's Katie's?
Oh, right, because now there's only one game left on.
Is there?
No, two. There's one game left on Carrie's list.
Yeah,
but Katie has several.
Fire away.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one's to round that out. So we've done Orleans Obsession, Arc Nova, Terraforming Mars, Scythe, Rococo. All right. So that's top 6. To round it out, the bottom half, Tang Garden.
Oh,
which we talked about before.
We talked about last week, I think.
It was a Kickstarter that she was like, we need this. We need all of it. We backed Seasons and the big box that's coming. It's so beautiful. We've got some tile placement, which she and I both really enjoy. The components are gorgeous. The miniatures are really tiny, and she painted all of them. And I think she loves to paint the miniatures. I think it really appeals to her crafting nature.
Is she going to repaint the miniatures because she'll get the new improved detail and quality in the Kickstarter? Yep.
So I would say that the answer to that is yes. She hasn't said one way or the other, but I'm pretty sure she's going to paint them.
I'm pretty sure she will.
But it's just a lovely game. It's that 3-dimensional, the landscapes that are standing around the edge of the garden, the direction the miniatures are looking.
I love that mechanic.
All that matters. Yeah. So it's very unique, but it's beautiful. It's peaceful. Yeah.
That's a game. That game we will play it too, most of the time.
We will. We've played it at 4, maybe twice.
Yeah,
but
Same.
We both enjoy it. Just 2 players. No, it's good. That's Tang Garden. Followed it up by, again, this is not in any order. This ranks higher on Katie's list. That is Mystic Vale.
That's the one with the cards that are
card crafting. Yeah,
card crafting. That's right. Ooh, what a mechanic.
So we all have the same deck of cards, and there's like corrupted fields and verdant fields or whatever like that. But it comes with sleeves because you have to sleeve the cards because you have translucent inserts that you slide into the sleeve, and there's a top, middle, and bottom third of each of the cards, so you can have up to 3 different powers, features, fields on each card. And there is a little deck building, of course, but you're really crafting the cards because I think 75% of your starter deck, they're all blank.
Yeah.
So you need to slide them into the sleeves to make your deck enhance. We've got I think it's the leaders, which are really cool. She'll always play that.
Right.
We love it at 2.
It's nice at 2.
It sings at 4. If you go to 6, it just takes forever. I think the beauty of the game is there's a little bit of an overlap. So when Katie takes her turn, as she's doing her thing, I can start preparing my turn, playing the cards in the Vale, right? But yeah, Mystic Vale. We have we've got the Conclave big box, all the expansions. I got her the Geek Up upgraded bits, the plastic
proper
shards. Yeah.
I think we had it, and then for some reason we traded it away, but I can't remember why. Because I actually enjoyed it. All the things you said, I was like, it's a great game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Katie would never let me sell it.
No.
Sell it, give it away, trade it. No. This is definitely one of her favorites. Yeah. Harmony and mysticism. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. And
the art looks great as well.
Yep. Although it's in terms of weight, these last few games are much lower.
Yeah.
Right? We're in the 2s. Her next one, back to worker placement, back to farming and fields. That's Creature Comforts. Which is a recent
list of games we're waiting for. Yeah.
It was a recent purchase at Gen Con this year. And I think it just took her by storm because the pieces are so beautiful. The little animal minis and that dice. You roll the dice and place them to get your resources. But you have your 2 family dice in your color that you roll beforehand, and then you place your workers, and then you roll the collective dice afterwards, and you hope.
I cannot wait to try this game. I think
really
it'll
cool.
end up in Carrie's top 10. I think it will do.
I think so. Knowing her as I do, I think she's going to love it. It's one of Katie. Katie will play Creature Comforts any day of the week. We love it at 2. We love it at 5. All player counts. But 25 minutes. I think we played Creature Comforts at like 25 minutes.
Did you? Oh.
Just her and I. And it's so good. It's so good, It doesn't take a lot of time, but we get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It's cute. It's fun. It's a little puzzly and strategic. So it really hits all the things that she's looking for in a game. So
it's weird. When it first came out, I completely missed it. I don't know how I skipped it. It's a Kickstarter, wasn't it, originally?
Yeah.
I do not know. And then suddenly I was like, this game, I keep seeing everywhere. Why haven't I got it? Oh, I missed it. And so we backed the expansion.
Did y'all back the sequel that just...
Yeah, about that as well.
Maple Valley, I think.
Yeah, I've added that on as well. So that's on its way.
So now there's one left on both lists.
Okay.
I'll finish Katie's list.
Go for it.
It is the lowest in terms of weight. I think it's dearest to her heart in terms of nostalgia. Ticket to Ride, specifically Europe.
I was about to ask, is it
she specifies Europe, but we have almost all the maps, and she'll play Ticket to Ride any day. There was a time where we would go to Titan Games and we would play Ticket to Ride Tuesdays at Titan. So it was just,
I love it.
So we would bring a couple of maps and go to Titan, and we had a couple of friends that we would meet up with every Tuesday, and we would play Ticket to Ride. I think we'll probably do a Ticket to Ride marathon one day, and I recently acquired Poland. I really enjoyed that. That's a good expansion, but Ticket to Ride Europe, she's always ready to play. It's great at 2 because we can. I mean, at 2 players, you can knock that out quickly.
Yeah. A lot of these games are like that. It's like the 2-player version, particularly if you know the game.
Oh yeah,
it's, bam, bam, bam.
And some of the maps are only 2 or 3 player, right? Switzerland, Nordic countries. I think there's another one.
I've only played the core and Europe.
Oh, okay.
So clearly missing out.
I also think she likes it because she always beats me. She's got a really high win ratio, except for the Nordic country. For some reason, when we go to Scandinavia and we cross the Arctic Circle, I somehow can win. I don't know. She's got a block on that map, but everything else.
The glaring white Arctic snow. It distracts her from everything else.
Otherwise, she beats me at everything. The Ticket to Ride card game, we have that.
Mm-hmm.
She has a 100% win ratio.
Wow, you've never won.
No.
You need to practice more.
Yep. So that's Katie's top 10 list, and I think you've got one more in Carrie's list.
Yeah, so the final one, coming at Carrie's number 8, was Fields of Arle, which is Uwe Rosenberg's. It was 2-player.
Right.
Has got an expansion with 3.
So good.
It's
good.
like 3.87. It's a pretty meaty worker placement. You've got is it 4 actions or four workers? I can't remember now. Double-sided, you've got the summer and you've got the winter, and you build tools and you're developing your equipment. You've got your breeding, you've got your harvesting. And again, it's all the intricate different dependencies to try to survive. Yeah. As well as building the path and traveling around. Is it Friesland? No, whatever the area.
It's where he's from originally,
yeah, it is,
right?
And I've just forgotten terribly. But it's that kind of anyway. One of us somebody will Google it in a minute.
Yep.
But yeah, Carrie again. It's 2 players and doesn't hit table as much because it's got a bit of setup time. We have got a storage solution for it now, so it does mean there's a little bit less time. But yeah, Carrie's number 8 is Fields of Arle.
Mm-hmm.
That rounds out the list.
It is. That's it.
The only other stats I have is that we've played sort of about 1,300 player-to-player one-on-ones.
Wow.
Obviously played a lot more than that. Across 455 different games.
Wow. And to remind everyone, that's over 10 years, right?
Yeah. I mean, we played I think we're near at 10,000 plays on the main list.
Ooh, man.
But yeah, currently win ratio 2-1 to me. But some of these games up here, there's games, I think Keyflower, she has high win rates. Tzolkin, and she often beats me on.
Which is why it's her number 1.
Yeah, that's probably another reason why they're on there, because she gets to win those games.
That's awesome. So it's a new year, and we're back to our annual challenge.
Yeah.
We're going to play every game at least once. We could play more, but we will get every game in our collection played once. We have 196 games in our collection. 29 of them have been played.
Good work.
14.7%. A total of 42 plays so far. 6 different people. Most of which are just Katie and I.
And what's the current win ratio?
The current win ratio head-to-head between Katie and I think is 18-17.
Ooh, I love it.
Yeah, it's really narrow. It narrowed this morning. What Katie and I like to do, I don't know if you and Carrie do this at all. We'll take a Saturday, or a Sunday morning, we're by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We will take a single Kallax and be like, we're going to play every game in that Kallax square.
Oh, in the square.
Yeah. We did that last weekend, and we knocked out 5 games before lunch.
I might have a look. There are certain property squares that might take me 3 weeks. There's a few Vital where it might take me 2 days. But,
well, okay, that's fair, but
there are some cubes where there's some fast plays. We did try to get Carrie and Katie to join us, but Carrie looked at me, shook her head, and just ran away. So there are no special guests this week. We will at some point try to get them on the show.
We hope so.
Or they could take over. It could be a meeple to meeple takeover one week, and we could just sit back and let them record a show.
I mean, that would be great. I would love that. That would be excellent.
We could, I'm going to go just try and encourage that.
They might do a better job than you and
Probably,
I, to be fair.
That's okay. It might give us a rankings boost that we desperately need.
Oh, tell me about it, right?
Right. So, thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, this is great, and Gareth, I really I appreciate you bringing up this topic. 'Cause I love, you and I talk about this a lot. Our wives, we love to play with them; they're our favorites, and so thanks a lot. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks everyone for listening. Please subscribe, and as always, we love to hear your thoughts and ideas. So make sure to leave those in the comments, and don't forget, you can also chat with us both on Instagram @Meeple to Meeple.